Washington County is the most recent to join the 287G program. Former state lawmaker Robin Smith is finally sentenced in a kickback scheme. House Speaker Cameron Sexton wants to look into Davidson County's staggering increase in property taxes. I think that should be on the agenda for all Tennesseans in the upcoming session to limit that nonsense where these blue and even some red counties are, for lack of a better word, financially raping their residents. Tullahoma School Board passes policy banning pride flags from classrooms. That's one Randy McNally couldn't even get behind. Judge rules against state of Tennessee over adequacy of exceptions in abortion ban law. And finally, Greene County Commission rejects resolution to urge legislators to bust medical monopoly. It's Brandon Lewis here with the Tennessee Conservatives Big Seven, where we cover the big stories that only conservatives care about, which means, since we're the only conservative news outlet that cannot be bought or purchased, that isn't corporately funded, and the only media outlet GOP primary voters can count on, that it's unlikely you'll get these stories from these angles anywhere else. Go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com, hit that subscribe button. If you appreciate what we do and you want to see us get past the 5-year mark, I'd recommend you go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support and make a donation. A monthly one is what we desperately need. And finally, you can mail your checks to P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee 37377. Washington County, latest to enter the 287G program to partner with us. Washington County Commission unanimously passed a memorandum of agreement to enter the federal government's 287G program to hasten the deportation of illegal aliens convicted of crimes in the county. And the GEM model, which minimizes the risk of an alien absconding or reoffending by preventing them from being returned to the communities that they came from, is excellent because it just allows them to turn them over to ICE. Sheriff Keith Sexton said it's a minimal investment, maximum impact, no need for dedicated staff or facilities. He said the county currently arrests about 15 to 20 illegal aliens per month. Mayor Joe Grandy also championed MOA, saying the reimbursement from the federal program could significantly help with the financial burdens placed upon the local agency by illegal aliens. So it's one of the latest counties hot on the heels of Sevier to do this. And right now we've got 22 counties participating, which is pretty anemic. That's about 20% of Tennessee counties. I'd love to see it go further. Former state lawmaker Robin Smith is finally sentenced. It amazes me how many people go up to Nashville and instead of just making their money doing something else, they try to get rich up in Nashville, which is a common story. We all know this about politicians in general. But I've always thought that you should make your money somewhere different than your civic engagement, which is why I don't take a dime from the Tennessee Conservative, and I've always made my money coaching painting contractors. Because you can't really make any money, this is the sad fact, helping your GOP constituents. I hate to say it. If you want to help the corporations, if you want to help the wealthy, if you want to help any government employees, lobbies, things like that, you can make a killing. But what happens is people try to mix the two, and it doesn't end well. And so basically, they have the franking budget, and her and a few other GOP lawmakers, and it wasn't even that much money, thought they could get their hands into it. But apparently they ran afoul of some sort of federal law. And she's already paid off roughly $29,000 in judgments in connection with the case. And she was one time the Republican Party chair, which goes to show you, sometimes we wonder why our GOP doesn't stand up to the establishment when they do not follow the platform. And it's because most people that work for the GOP ultimately get paid by the same special interests that the politicians get paid for, and they take their marching orders from those politicians. And so instead of standing by the platform, they stand by the powerful. So hopefully this sends a message to GOP lawmakers. Just make your money doing something that is actually ethical and honest, and not trying to skim off of taxpayer allocated resources. Next story, Tennessee House Speaker Cameron Sexton, probably lobbying for his own district there in Davidson County, uh, where he lives, not back in Cumberland County, ladies and gentlemen, has requested an investigation into the most recent property values of Davidson County after hearing of the massive increases that residents may not be able to afford. Many have experienced in Davidson County a jump of more than 300% on some properties. The reappraisal resulted in a 45% median increase in property values across the country, while state law mandates counties to remain revenue neutral after a reappraisal. You know, the issue is we've had almost like 35% inflation these last few years. And if you're in a home that you never plan to move out of, the fact that it's worth more doesn't help you. Like, I don't care how much my house is worth here on Signal Mountain, Tennessee. I have no intention to ever move out of here. And so it can be worth a whole bunch of money. And it probably is. But if I'm never going to leave it and I'm never going to sell it, I'll never realize the gain. I don't think we should tax people on gains they haven't realized, nor do I think that we should punish people for getting out of debt, which is what I've done. I hate property taxes. It's something you can't ever get out from underneath, and I'm not for it. I'm for consumption taxes. And local businesses are not immune from the steep increase, and many are concerned they will not be able to continue to operate. And so Sexton said in a statement out of his office that the speaker has asked the comptroller's office to review the situation, as only current recourse owners have is filing appeals, facing a 2-year backlog, etc. Sexton elaborated that massive valuation increases like these threaten to shutter businesses, and indeed they do. Guys, go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com. Hit the support button. We need your donations. Boy, this has been a rough summer. I ain't going to lie to you. Trump complacency syndrome is in full effect. Don't think because we've got somebody decent in the White House that it somehow trickles down into state and local government. Boy, it doesn't. We report story after story that completely contradicts that. So you can also mail your checks to P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee 37377. And if you should give a donation of $50 or more, or a recurring donation of $10 or more, we'll send you a proud Tennessee conservative tumbler, a koozie, our heartfelt thanks, and a directory of your elected officials for those that have ears to hear and eyes to see. Tullahoma School Board passes policy banning prides from classrooms. I think this is so funny because in the state Senate just a year or two ago, Randy McNally voted with the Democrats to keep gay pride flags in classrooms, like the leader of our Senate, right? The guy that probably could tie his shoes on a good day if a fifth grader showed him. Like, he ain't with it anymore. You should watch him speak in public. It is a sad show. The fact that folks, through cowardice and wanting to climb the ladder, won't say, hey, we probably need to elect somebody that's a little bit more with it, perhaps more aligned with the GOP primary voters, is something else. And not only that, about half the committee of the GOP, the real brave ones, they left and didn't even vote on it. But at least the Tullahoma School Board somehow has found a little bit of courage here to represent their constituency. During their Tuesday night meeting, the Tullahoma School Board approved a policy which will allow the American and Tennessee flag to be displayed in classrooms only, therefore prohibiting everything else. The policy's main focus is on textbooks and school materials, but one section specifically addresses flags and other displays. The policy does include an appeals process for exemptions which require a written request submitted to the principal, etc. Many who spoke in favor of the policy chastised the board for continually ignoring the community pleas and to pressure to move these far-left symbols out of the classrooms. Again, I wouldn't send my kid to a school where I had to deal with this nonsense. I would take them out. It's like if I went to a restaurant and they decided that they were going to, drop your food on the floor before they served it to you. And that's kind of just, they didn't care what you really wanted. Like, I'd be like, I'm never coming back to this restaurant. But we have got an education monopoly in Tennessee where the system gets a lot of money. The kids and the taxpayers get the shaft, and it just keeps going on year after year. And I think it's irredeemably broken because of the incentive structures that are in it, because there's no penalty if the customers aren't served and if the product isn't produced. In an environment like that, I don't see how you get ahead. Next story. Judge rules against the state of Tennessee over adequacy of exceptions in abortion law. An ongoing legal battle, the state of Tennessee suffered a blow in their petition to have a longstanding lawsuit dismissed, which challenges the, quote, vagueness and inadequacy of exceptions contained, boy, it's cold out here, I should have wore pants instead of shorts. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that right now. Contained in the state's abortion law when a 3-judge panel denied the state's request for a ruling in their favor without a trial. The lawsuit was originally brought in 2023 by a group of OBGYNs and women who claimed they have suffered serious medical problems during their pregnancy and could not receive medically necessary abortions due to the state's near ban on the practice. The Attorney General argued that the Human Life Protection Act in Tennessee already covered conditions which qualified for an abortion exception, but the panel stated there was lack of consensus and confusion among Tennessee medical providers. So there you have it. We'll see what happens. Looks like this puppy's probably going to a trial. Next story. If you want to, in Tennessee, if you are in like a more rural area, and this is just the craziest thing in the world to me, and this is not conservative in any way, Greene County Commission rejects resolution to urge lawmakers to bust medical monopoly. You've got all these rural counties where these large corporations, which have just doled tons, millions of dollars into the Tennessee General Assembly to purchase influence, and it cheaply purchased indeed. I think that's one reason in the Bible it says that when you're looking for leaders, one of the requirements is that they should not take a bribe. We got so many lawmakers taking bribes up in Nashville. There's no wonder they can't represent their constituents. But if you want to invest in and compete with in the healthcare system in the state of Tennessee, you have to get a permission slip from the government to go into these places where these corporations are buying influence in Nashville and failing to deliver the care that they need. And that's what certificate of need laws are, which is terrible. It's basically just a monopoly, is what they've been granted. Greene County Commission rejected the resolution in a 5-15 vote. I'm sure there's been some money passed around with them too. The legislature has tinkered around the edges for years to do something about this, but in the end, we know they don't really give a rip. If it's the corporations or the GOP primary voter, 9 times out of 10, we're just kind of left out there. One former ballot health nurse had a few harsh words for the naysayers in the Greene County Commission. In fact, she moved out of the state to make a living and said, quote, Greene County's decision to support ballot health wasn't an act of preservation. It was an act of self-preservation and choosing the consolidation and corporate control over community collaboration. Local leaders traded the long-term health of an entire region for short-term financial comfort and political favor. You could apply that and change out medical for a number of things in Tennessee, and you would be largely correct. All right, guys. Sorry I missed you last week. I had to go to a conference in Nashville, and I had a bunch of other stuff to do, and I just ran out of time. I'm a volunteer. I try to get to this stuff every Friday, but sometimes I just run out of time, and I've got things that actually put money on the table, put food on the table, my other business. And if that thing starts fighting with this thing and the other thing's got to win because I got responsibilities as a provider and I got lots of clients that pay me and depend on me to do a good job and I have to do it. And so, we are largely a volunteer or a stipended ran organization here at the Tennessee Conservative. So from time to time, just like you, I may drop the ball, so I apologize for that. I did have a wonderful time in Nashville. I went to a Women in Paint conference, which is all the ladies that own painting business, that are involved in painting businesses. And our COO, Tara Riley, who's just an amazing woman, spoke there, got a great reception. I was able to go to, I think, is it Jason Aldean's place, and to a really great piano bar. I love live music. Heard some fantastic traditional music at Roberts this week. Western World, which is my favorite bar. If not on planet Earth, I'd probably come behind the Floribama. It would certainly be my favorite in Nashville at Broadway. Luckily, it was during the middle of the week, so it was not just absolute bedlam, and typically I was out of there before it got too late. But it was nice to spend a few days in the Music City. I stayed in a pretty neat hotel. Overall, A+. It just reminds me that I need to go back there more often. What's going on this weekend, guys, here at the Lewis household? Well, tonight, and I know this is going to get some boos and jeers from some folks, we're going trick-or-treating with the kids. I did it when I was little. I don't think I'm any worse for the wear for it. People are always like, well, that's not a Christian thing, and this, that, and neither. I'm like, well, neither are Christmas trees and stockings and this, that, and the other. And I think we have a lot of cultural appropriation and mingling in Christianity. I think it's one reason why you will see situations in the New Testament where they're like, hey, don't give the local population offense if it's going to hinder them from the gospel. And so I think when you've got as many cultures that have been commingled for as long as we have, with Christianity being as far flung as it is all over the world, that you get mixed things about that. I try not to get worked up over it. I'm no theologian. I have a hard time majoring on the majors, and so I try not to major on the minors when it comes to my faith. What's next? We had a bunch of tree limbs fall in that storm. I guess maybe if you had a storm, we had some rain. We've got some trees that I need to pay to get cut down, but Lord, it's expensive to cut down trees. And so I'm going to get the chainsaw out this weekend. On Sunday, we're going to go to church on Saturday night. We've got our niece in town, and Aunt Hay Hay's coming to visit. I don't know what else we got going on, but I hope just to spend Sunday at home, because I've been spending too much time away from the house here lately. Most of it is fun. A lot of it is festive and enjoyable, but some of it's work. So I'm a little worn out. And speaking of wearing out, I'm about to go to the gym before we go to eat dinner at a friend's house and go dress up like princesses, or whatever the girls are dressed up like. Pirates, princesses and pirates, I think, this year. You've seen my Halloween costume I posted from a party earlier, but I'm just putting on some warm clothes, and I'm just going to follow the kids around with a thinly disguised beer. And just enjoy the evening. I always enjoy trailing behind them and watching the little faces as they go run and get candy. I can remember when I was little, all we could afford was one of those Walmart costumes, which is basically a garbage bag and a piece of plastic with a rubber band on it. I can remember being He-Man, more like He-Midget, but I can remember being He-Man and running around and just sweating. It was one of those Alabama October, just hot, probably 80, 90 degrees, and I'm in this plastic bag with my face covered, and I can just remember doing all this. But you know what? It made it all worth it when I got back home with that bag full of candy. And so I assume the girls feel the same way. Guys, be careful as you're driving around out there. If you should watch this tonight and over the weekend, those little kids, sometimes they'll just dart right out in front of you. So keep it slow, keep it low, and make sure you don't give away the cheap stuff. No candy corn here, people. No butterscotch. Kids don't like that stuff. Put out the good stuff, or don't put it out at all. All right. Love you, mean it. I'll talk to you next time. We've got a few announcements coming up here in the next few weeks, so stay tuned for those. I'll keep you on the edge of your seat. But until next time, it's your buddy here, Brandon Lewis, enjoying this wonderful, beautiful fall weather that we have in Tennessee as the leaves change and we head into winter. Take care. See you next time.